Alright, so we're back. That intro just on the last stream was so bad. So once again, Sniper Dupe is back, just doing that weekly live stream. In my analysis, I'll just go over the 4-hour charts for these pairs here, and then I'll head over into the hourly. And as I'm going through, I'll just kind of tell you guys the trade setups that I'm looking at heading into this week, and also the setups that I'm like to take it towards the start of the week. But that's really it. Don't mind the ads. Once again, just a broke ass 18-year-old, 19-year-old, getting old now, so it's just unfortunate, but that's that. So let's get into it. So heading into UJ, we can kind of see that it broke the recent support this week. I assume that's this week, right? 22nd. Yep. So 19th is around here. So you can kind of see that it broke it now. It retested it as well. And for some reason, I still can't get the chat up on my phone. So it's just a bit slow, I guess. Oops, I accidentally got it up on my phone. Not the stream, I just want to get the stream manager. Alright, there we go, got it all up. So we can kind of see that just around here it's kind of broken this previous support, and it's retested it as a resistance. So what I'm kind of expecting, and a level that I'm going to be marking, is kind of just dragging this one along, as we can kind of see that there was a bit of rejection here, and started rejecting back up towards the upside. We can kind of see that it created a lower low, created a low there as well, and it's unable to create a high above kind of this area up here. So kind of, if you take a look pre-COVID, you can kind of see this trading way above what it used to. And so for me, I'm kind of just going to be looking for probably a break and retest of this area. Up here, and then take it towards the upside. But then once again, I'll also be looking in for a pretty nice entry to take this towards the upside. Like, I wouldn't want to enter in right now because there's potential that this trade here could go from where it is right now and head down towards like here. So like, if I just, that would allow me to enter in here and really just maximize on like this move towards that upside, because I don't really think that this pair here will head down. I think that it's going to come back and test these lows once again, see how it goes, and then like continue towards the upside. I really don't think that it's going to go any lower than it currently has. So that's what I think. But also, if we do see like an extremely strong wick from here towards, and like a bit of rejection, like, then if we were to take that to the hourly, we could probably just look in for an entry here, take it towards this market structure up here, and then that way we could set our stop loss down here, and it'd be like that nice risk to reward ratio, and we'll bag those pips, and that'll be closer to getting that FTMO 100k account, taking that month by month, baby, day by day, week by week. That's the goal. So zooming out here, you can kind of see that there's a pretty consistent downtrend here, but then if you just take this overall trend is also going down, so you can see that, and we can also see this is COVID here, so it's created a new low for COVID, like post-COVID we can see, and pre-COVID we can see that it's just trading towards a higher echelon of this range that I've placed. So what I'd be looking for here is, let's just see if this here can drop back down towards this area here, into this oversold region, and if it's starting to show me that there's a bit of divergence here, then I do think that it will go up, because we can see that this is the lowest low it's created a lot higher low here, and it's come back and it's created a lower low, and like, let's just use a fib, kind of just testing it out. Let's just see what it looks like. We can see that this here could have been an entry right on that 0.6 area, taking it towards the downside. But for me, I'm kind of I don't really think that it will end up continuing down here. But once again, you're not going to guess the market. You really just want to trade those setups that look good for you, and this one here is not really a trading setup for me. But my just general opinion is that this is going to go up, and if something tells me in the markets that it's going to go up, then I'll enter in. And if you want to know what makes me enter in on the markets, once again, !YouTube and check out those weekly recaps. So taking a look on this pair here, USD CAD, back on that 4 hour, we can see that it's kind of continuing this downtrend after here. So if you guys watched me for a few weeks, then you'd know that I was really waiting for it to come up to here and kind of enter in on a sell opportunity towards like here-ish, but it didn't really hit my area of entry. But then like if I was to enter in here, it still would have been like a magnificent trade, but it just didn't work, and I guess that's just how it be sometimes. So here we're kind of seeing that it's in the middle of the RSI, in the middle of the OBV, so there is potential that this is going to be able to break this low here. We can also see that it's already dropped a bit below and created a lower low down here compared to this area here. So that kind of gives us a sign that there is like continued downward momentum, but this here could simply just be like banks moving the currency pair and trying to activate those stop losses as people would enter in around here, because this is a key level, take it towards the upside. So people will be doing that again here. So what it would do is just come down here, wipe out those stop losses, and then take it towards the upside. And what I think for this pair, if we just zoom out, I think that this here, if you take a look pre-COVID, the pre-COVID markets, hold on, let me just need more wire for my headset. There we go. So if we were to take a look here, wait, am I recording? Yep. Alright, so sorry about that. Oh, another ad. What I think is that this here is just going to continue heading down to here, and then once it does head down towards here, I will be looking in for that entry towards the upside, because if you just take a look previously, it's looked to be a pretty nice trade. See, down here, buy, down here, buy, and then this here takes you back to 2018, so it's kind of a long time ago, not really relevant information. Now, what did I do on this pair? I was kind of just messing around looking for cheeky entries. You can see that I was kind of eyeing this pair here, and I did want to enter in right here in between this 0.5 to 0.6, take it towards the upside. If you want to know what happened, once again, !YouTube, check that video out. Link will be when you press !YouTube or whatever. So check that one out, and that's really it for that pair. Kind of see a bit of resistance here, but it's not really significant enough for me to mark it down. Instead I could just simply like drag this across here, but I don't really think it's significant enough to mark it down as like a relevant level. So once again, not really interested in anything on this pair, so we're just going to continue going on. Alright, so taking a look at this pair here, we can kind of see that since this point here, it's been in this downtrend, it's been unable to create a higher high, right? So you can see if I was to use, hey, where's my thing? High, highs, lower highs, and then once again, those lower highs, and seeing that rejection. What do I think will happen? My personal opinion, I do believe that this here will start to kind of cross over here, and then I believe that it's going to head towards the upside here, because we do see like this double bottom here on this slight key level, but I actually do think that this key level here is relevant. So maybe if this pair comes down to around here, then we could enter in on a possible buy and continue to take that towards the upside. because I've seen kind of this pattern happen before, and this is generally the outcome of that pattern. And if it doesn't work, I won't really trade that pattern again. But if it does work, then I'll start to do more research and back testing on this pair, on this setup, this pattern. And if it works, then I get money, take it towards the upside, and you know, it is what it is. So also, if you guys want to see my Pepperstone account right now, if you don't believe me, then you can leave the stream. But I started at $2,001 because I accidentally put in an extra $1, so that's kind of annoying. But check this out. So that's my business email right there. Check that out. But here. If you want to see what the account's at now, whoops, $50 challenge. Whoops, I know you can see the account, but you don't know the password, so that's fine. But like we can kind of just see here that it's now at $2,415. And yeah. So you can see I'm making profits on the account. I'm not about that BS, and yeah, that's how it be. So I already told you guys what I'm looking for in this pair, kind of to drop down here and take it all the upside base of this kind of continuous downtrend. Yep. So heading into this pair here, let's just take a look, right? So we can kind of see that there's this key level here. See that there was probably a nice entry to enter in here on that point, in between that 0.5 to 0.6 area. Simply I didn't really want to enter in on this position, but we can see that if you take a look at it now, it would have been in profits, and it looks to be continuing this little uptrend here. But let's just delete this, and like if we were to use it from up here down to here, from this high to this low, you can kind of see that an entry right here back towards the downside there could have been a nice little entry for this pair. So here, what do I think? I think I might range for a little bit and then start heading towards the downside there. Like, let's take a look pre-COVID. We can kind of just see it's trading within that range, right? So here it's probably going to continue towards the downside after coming down to around here. Then it's probably going to head once again towards like that upside. Alright, so heading on to GJ, let's just see what's going on here. Delete. Let's just clear this one as well. You can see this trade, 125 pips in profit. If you want to check that one out, then just let me know, and exclamation mark YouTube in the chat. Check that one out. Let's get this viewership up, baby. Alright, so let's get back to GJ and take a look here. So zooming out here, taking a look once again at where it was previously traded, was towards, it was really just ranging in between here. So I'm kind of expecting this once again to, let's just see what it looks like on the fib. For me, I think that taking a look at it right now, it might drop back down to here, range here, and then continue heading towards that upside. But once again, this setup here isn't really ideal, especially for like the way that I trade. Let's just see what another fib would look like here. This here would have been a better setup for me. Enter in on this 0.5 here after creating this high, and then trading from here up to this high, and have this area as my target up here. But then once it hits that 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, I'd just move my stop loss up to 0, and then just let the trade just run, and if it goes up, it goes up. If it goes down, then I guess I just lose whatever profit I already had, which is still fine because for me, I just think that it's better to at least stay in the game than it is to just like close early and all that sort of stuff, which I still struggle with, is just trying to let my trades run. But as I am trading this larger account, for me, like there's 202k account, I still like am improving on my trading, do like letting trades run and that sort of stuff. So taking a look at this pair, we can kind of see here that on the OBV it's still pretty high, so there's definitely room for this to drop. We can also see here though it's coming down, and we can see that it's essentially even with this low down here on the RSI over there. So I think that this here will drop, but I do think that this pair will continue to range within that area. And if you take a look pre-COVID, let's just see what it was trading above it, right? So taking a look here, we can see post-COVID it's been unable to crack above, and it has been creating lower lows consistently. So for me, what I would like to see is once again like that bit of rejection at around, like, if I just drag this across, possibly if it breaks there, I'd be watching really closely to what happens around this area. If it still doesn't continue to reject, then I'll be watching this area. If it starts rejecting here, I'll probably bias to really just trade within this range, because last week that trading within the range worked out really well for me. So like I think a nice little trade like this here could work pretty well with that 1.6 risk to reward ratio, which, like, if I'm risking 3%, then this here would be like a 4% trade if it goes and hits that. But like normally, once my trades go, like if I'm trading a 3 to 1 risk reward, once it hits like that 2% mark, I close 1%, let the rest of it kind of just trade and just like go. So that's just kind of my risk management strategy. But yeah, so that's what I'm looking for on that pair. Now taking a look at this pair here, let's just zoom out once again to kind of just see what's happening. So even pre-COVID it was trading within this range here, as I can see, and then over here we can just see that it's hit this high, it's been a continuous downtrend, but then over here it's created a higher high. So possibly on this level right here, if you take a look here, this here could be a nice entry towards our upside. And just another tool of confluence that I could use here is this fib. So we can see on this fib that an entry from up here, well, in between this 0.5 to 0.6 area, would be a nice entry into it. But taking a look at previous market structure, we can see that even though it did break above and it did dip back, so let's just use this fib, we can kind of see that the same thing happened here. It did go back up pretty high, so possibly this here will go back up pretty high, up towards here, or after that it could just drop all the way down to here. So for me, if I was to enter in here, my stop loss would be like down here, and this here would be 1%. So is it really worth it? Not really, right? It's not really worth waiting 200 pips when I can just wait for this here to enter in down here. Once this here comes towards that oversold area, and once like this here also continues to come back down, we can also see like from here, this point, it's kind of been in this consistent downtrend, whereas on the actual chart it hasn't. So if you don't know what I mean, I'll just draw it for you. So this here is what I mean by divergence, right? This is the most retarded trend line, right? But you can get the point. So you see here that like this is essentially in an uptrend or a broke market structure, right? This area especially, and this is going up, this is going down, so that's showing signs of it dropping. And then if you just take a look at the RSI, it's really just dropping. So based off of that, what I think is that this is going to continue to drop back into the range. Once it does hit that range, I took a nice trade on this, well, I took a similar trade on this pair here, and hopefully I can take another similar trade once this enters kind of the bottom of this range, and then take that towards the upside within that range, probably, such as something like that would be pretty nice. That way I could have a tighter stop loss kind of just like around here. Once again, here's like that 1.5 risk to reward ratio, or even then something just like this. But yeah, alright. So taking a look here, you can kind of just see that throughout the week, checking on the 4-hour charts, broke here, this level, and it's kind of, this pair right now is looking really ugly for me. Just taking a quick look at it, it's simply just ranging in between here. It's having really short and precise trends, right? So like here, downtrend, here, uptrend. And if you've seen my other videos, I really do not like trading contradicting trends. So for me, not really interested to enter in on this pair. And I guess maybe like a double top forming here, but for me, really not interested in this pair right now, especially taking a look at where it was trading pre-COVID. We can kind of see it was heading towards like it was just like essentially in a recession, right? And it's just falling. So seeing that it was falling, there may be a possible short opportunity here. So seeing that there may be a possible short opportunity, we'll take a look here at this point, 0.61 area. So seeing this, now I'm kind of more biased towards that downside. So I'd probably look for a break and retest of this area, and after that, essentially target these lows, and then have my stop loss something like this, or probably above this market structure or above this whole key level. So I'd like to see how this pair reacts to this area up here. Set my stop loss something like this, and then target these lows down here. And this here is possibly a trade I take this week, depending on how it reacts to these levels. If it does break above, then I'm not really going to look to enter in. If it comes up here, shows big signs of rejection, and then breaks below here again, that's a pretty good sign that it's going to head towards that downside. Oops, that it's going to head towards that downside. Also, if you've watched it this far, then just message me and tell me what you think about me doing like vlog type videos, because if you've seen Hannah Forex, I'll just do a quick shout out. If you've seen this chick, I really like the way she does her videos on Forex, and yeah, I'd like to do something similar, especially like because she got funded on Forex as well. It could be really nice. We can see there, look at that profit. She's gotten like 1,500 was all she took out. She left the rest of it in there, but that's really it. So just let me know what you think about those vlog type videos. If you're in the chat, once again, just say hello. But yeah, so this here is a trade I'm looking at heading into this week. So taking a look here, you can kind of see that it's pretty ugly as well, especially taking a look at Euro USD. It looks pretty similar, where it's got those here, downtrend here, uptrend, but it's a bit of a choppy uptrend. Yo, what's going on? I don't even know how to say that name. Kung Fox boy. Bro, I did not know how to say that. I was so sorry if I butchered it. But yo, tell me a bit about yourself, champ, and why you're watching this stream, and that sort of stuff. Thank you, mate, for the info. Yeah, no worries, mate. Like the thing is, I was gonna do this like sort of analysis anyway, so I just think to myself like I might as well just stream it, and if like people want to watch it, they can watch it on how I trade Forex, and they can kind of just see me progress, because I started streaming when I was trading like a $50 account, grew that account, now I'm trading a 2k account, and then I'm kind of just going to use these profits to then get funding from another firm for 100,000. So then if I was to make like 3% on that account, it'd be like 3 grand or $3,000. So that's kind of the goal, and what I'm doing here is really just documenting my journey to getting that, essentially, and just showing that it's like possible if you put in the work. And really it's just consistency is key. So that's just a little bit about myself. If you're in the chat, then like just tell me like about yous, and I'd be sick. I just like, you know, learn a bit about you. Alright, so just like continuing on here, this does not look like a very nice pair to trade right now. Maybe just to see how things are kind of testing, if we just chuck in a fib from here down to here, you can kind of see that an entry in between this 0.5 to 0.6 area would be nice despite the lack of a key level. And then we can also see that I wasn't able to hit this previous market structure down there. Or also, if you are watching live, or if you are watching my YouTube video, then just and if you don't understand like what I'm saying, such as like key levels, uptrend, downtrend, support, resistance, I have a video on my channel called like everything you need to know about Forex, and that really just gives over like pips and risk reward and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's pretty good. So you're in Florida, you learned about Forex 5 or 6 years ago, but you thought it was a scam. Yeah, so I have my mates as well. They're currently playing video games. I'll show you. I think they're playing video games. Yeah, so I'm actually in the Discord right now. But these two, this one here, Slenders, he used to think that trading Forex, or like that Forex was a scam, and he was kind of waiting for me to kind of just make money on the $50 account. I made money on it. He's still a bit skeptical. Now he's seen me make a couple of hundred on the 2K account, because right now I'm at 2.4K, and now he's really getting interested, and he's actually looking to get into it as well. So I'll be helping teach him, just so like, because he's my best mate, so we can just like trade Forex together. And Forex just really brings like heaps of opportunities into people's life. But the thing is, it's just not as accessible as it is. Just because it's accessible, it doesn't really mean that it's easy to learn, right? So just because something's accessible doesn't mean it's easy to do. Like, I can easily go outside for a run, but doesn't mean that I'm going to go and beat the world record. So people come into Forex super easily, but then like they just think that they'll be able to go and take their profits. That's not really how it works. You kind of have to come in, put in the time, train, and then you can start seeing results. So this pandemic has opened your eyes. Yeah, man, I was the same. So I learned about it like 2 years ago, but then at the start of this year, I really got motivated to kind of trade Forex. I had some problems happen. Like I had this, because I live in like a pretty dodgy area. I had this crackhead like almost smash my window. So that just gave me like some extra motivation and to like move out of the hood. So I really, since that moment, I've been grinding the charts, and slowly but surely like the profits are coming in, and I'm slowly just aiming to build my wealth. I'm investing in stocks and that sort of stuff. Kind of just create wealth, so then when I'm older I can just live in like a nice place and kick back. So that's really just like a bit about me. And I'm 19 years old. So just wondering, like, how old are you, if you don't mind telling me? But continuing on, as I said, like this pair here looks really disgusting to trade, so I'm just going to skip that. Here we can kind of see that from this point it's kind of just been in this clear downtrend. So it's not really the greatest downtrend. We can kind of see that it came back and tested these highs after creating a lower low down here. We can see that up here it's created a higher high, and then we can see again here, even though it dropped below, it's then created here, it's broken this market structure, but then it hasn't created a point above this. So for me, the bias on this right now is that it's going to head down. If you take a look pre-COVID, it's kind of trading within this range, but then this here is kind of irrelevant, but it has been trading towards that lower echelon. So my bias right now on this pair is negative. I'd really like to see how it reacts to this area here, especially taking a look at taking a look at the OBV and the RSI, they're showing that it's pretty high up right here, right now. So this here could be just a sign that this is becoming overbought and start to lose value, and we can just start like selling this pair. 19, you're 33, you wish you had the balls to get into it in your 20s. Yeah, well, since you're kind of like 33 years old, if you were to get in it 13 years ago, I'll tell you something, mate, it's really not accessible as it is. Like, I reckon that's like the olden days. I was like, what, 6 years old? I reckon trading stocks would have been so much harder back then. Probably do it by phone, like calling people. But now, like, it's just so much easier. And like, in terms of like just like investing and getting into Forex, I think that if you even like research about it, you're already ahead of so many other people. Like, I have like people that are so much older than me tell me like, oh, you're so like good, like you did it when you were so young. But like, really, I haven't achieved anything. And the people that have actually like lived till 40 and like can afford to like buy their own food and all that stuff, that's like more of an achievement than what I'm doing, right? So just taking a look at the markets, you're already ahead of so many people probably around you and like that sort of stuff. So if you just keep grinding at it, just like focus on like improving yourself at the end of the day, and that's really all that matters, you know. Like, as long as you get better yourself, then there's like no need to worry about people that are younger than you or older than you and that sort of stuff. So for me, my motto is to just get better day by day, week by week, and that's just like how I aim to improve on like myself, my trading, the amount of money I have in my bank account, and that sort of stuff. So this here, I'm kind of biased towards this downtrend, but I'm not really sure what this level is doing, because it's not really reacting to it anymore, especially after this area here. So just gonna move that there and see if it starts to reject this area, then I can like take that towards the downside. So taking a look here, what I'm saying is that it did come down here below this range, but it's entered back into that range, and it's continuing on that, showing that around here, this previous support, it's still acting as that support, and it was still acting as that resistance here. So this key level is still relevant, and based off of that knowledge here, I'd probably say that it's going to continue going up. But the thing that I'm more confident about is that it's going to end up ranging in here sideways. So taking a look at COVID, we can see pre-COVID, it was really just trading below this range. But then we can see post-COVID, it did come down to these levels here. So possibly this here could continue going up, but let's just whip out the fib, kind of just check the pairs out. This one here, I'm liking this, so I'm just gonna mark this, mark an entry in here, target that. Once again, set that stop loss above, and this one here, I like to see how this pair develops throughout the week, so I'll put that in, and that's really a pretty good trade. So the reason why I'm saying that is because essentially I'd like to enter in around here, and then that way I could just like be a bit more happy, or enter in on that 0.6 area, so around up here, and then I can take this back towards the downside, because taking a look pre-COVID, it is trading way below it, right? And then we can see that with COVID, there was this huge like I look for entries on the 1 hour or 4 hour. So for me personally, I mark my key levels on the 4 hour, but for my actual entries, I look to enter in on based off of the 1 hour charts and seeing signs of rejection, and that sort of stuff. Based off of like the 1 hour charts, I look for my entries, and then the 4 hour charts will be like my what will it be? Oh, it'll be my key levels. So that's just really how I trade, because I feel like pairs, Forex as well, like it mainly respects the 4-hour levels a lot longer, so it's easier to trade. Like if you were to look here, you can see this level here respected once, twice, to this level here once, twice, 3, essentially 4, breaks it once, and then it's respected again after that. So it's kind of just long term. Like here I'm expecting it to be respected again and hopefully start heading this towards the downside, and really just take this trade. So I'm liking this. I think that this here looks like a nice trade, but then as always there is that potential for this here to just go towards that upside. But just really taking a look pre-COVID, it was trading down here, so I'd be surprised if it just keeps shooting up. But then again, it is on the Canadian dollar. You can see it's the euro. Taking a look at that previous pairs, this here looks like it's going to head down. This here looks like it's gone up. I don't know, we'll just have to see how it's looking. Do you look for engulfing candle patterns? Not really. I have one trade here that's kind of a pattern, but I mostly just trade break and retest during like a trend. So hold on, let me just see, because I had one that was like a pattern. Can't really remember which one. This one. So this here, I know that there's a pair, I mean a pattern that looks similar to this. My trend lines, I really draw trend lines because like I can just see it with my own eyes. But I've seen stuff like this where if this here is to come back down, then it might just shoot up and continue going up. So I'm looking for a buy like on this pair. But generally most of my trades would just look something similar to this kind of, where there's that this slight downtrend here, but then if we were to use a fib from this high to this low, we can see that a nice entry would be kind of in between this 0.6 to 0.5 area, and then we can see that right here on this 0.6 we're seeing a bit of rejection, and then hopefully it starts to reject this area here as well and continues heading really essentially to the downside, like for this pair. And like this one here, taking a look here, we can kind of see that it's been in this downtrend really since there. But if we were to zoom in here on the 4-hour, then we could just see that like from this high to this low, we can see that in between this 0.5 to 0.6 area, there's kind of this key level. I don't really like to draw key levels based off like within a range, but I guess it's still important, right? So I'm gonna delete the range actually. So this one right here, we can kind of see that it's coming down here. We can see support area there, and then we can see that here it's resistance essentially. Even though it does break above it there for a little bit, it's unable to maintain it. Now let's just head into the hour and see what it looks like on the hourly chart. See, I know this here is kind of, wait, I don't really know if I have like those circle things. Curve. What the heck? I don't know how to use this. Oh, so it's like that. So I know that there's a pattern that's like this as well. I think it's called head and shoulders. So like that, like 1, 2, 3, and then this here will just drop. So there's like that sort of pattern as well. But like this here looks like a nice sell opportunity. And then like here, hopefully this just continues to drop and just head down towards that downside. You know what I'm saying, bro? So heading on to this pair, we can see that this trade here took a fat L, down 26 pips. But if you actually check my MetaTrader, I made money off of this trade. I made money off of this trade, and it was a loser, and I made money. That just shows you how bloody good I am. Anyway, so taking a look, if you just zoom out here, we can see that this extreme high got severely broken, right? So gonna delete that and turn that into now a key level here that I can see, with it being resistance here, now support there. And I'll just put in my horizontal line for this extreme high up here. Now another thing that I'll do at this point is whip out my fib, just check to see what, where it's trading at. We can see that in between is 0.5 to 0.6 on that key level would have been a nice entry, you'd be in profit right now, and essentially you can take this trade towards that upside. So taking a look here, I can kind of see on the OBV it's looking fine for me. Nothing really out of the ordinary that would get me to consider anything different. But this week we can kind of see that there is a bit of news coming out that could affect the pairs. That could affect the pairs, so just gonna have to keep an eye out for that. But like this here looks like a nice trade, right? So this is really just my whole strategy. Is see, uptrend here, it breaks this key level, retest, and then I whipped in the fib, and the fib's telling me to enter in within this 0.5 to 0.6 area, enter in there, take towards the upside. Once this here kind of goes up to around here, this area, like this is what it looked like, right? So I'd entered in, target is up here, right now it's about 37 pips in profit. Once it hit essentially up here, then I would move my stop loss up to break even and really just let it trade, and if it comes stops me out, it stops me out. But if it continues going up, it continues going up, and that's when you get those big winners, you know. So you really want to get in, you want to enter in the market at a nice time so that you catch these little impulse moves. So you enter in, get this impulse move, then that allows you to move your stop loss up to 0 and then trade with no risk. Because essentially, if you can trade with no risk, what are you losing? Like, nothing really. There's only stuff to gain unless like you have $20 profit that's floating and then it comes back and hits you out for 0. But then that's fine. It's better than, because you would have already closed half of the position. So like here, let's say this here is 40 bucks profit. Close half of it, now I've got 20%. If this, I'm gonna got $20 closed, so 1%. And this comes back down to here, wipes me out. Alright, I made 1% on the day, that's fine. If this continues going up, I've only got half the position now, then this here might be like 3%, 4% on this big move, right, towards that upside. So that there, on that 100k account, could move from being like a from being a 1k trade to then this one trade alone being like 3 to 4k, right? Or even higher, depending on really just how you trade. But really, if you make 1% per trade, you're bloody killing it, right? So this here looks like a pretty good trade. It looks like I missed out on a nice entry on this pair. But the reason why I didn't really enter in on the markets is because when it's towards the end of the week, I don't really like to trade. And then at the same time is like, I had a pretty good week this week. I had my first triple digit trade ever. So I closed $130 profit in one trade, which is pretty big for a $2,000 account. Only risking around like that 3%. So it's a pretty, I just tried to keep my psychology in check, and the way I did that was kind of just by kicking back and chilling out, right? So that's just what I thought I should do there. So taking a look here once again on this last actual Forex pair, then here we just have some stocks that I invest in. So like I have a bit of shares in Apple. We can see here that because the same rules essentially apply, right? You can see here it's dropped, so I'm going to continue towards that upside there. I have only one Tesla share, but hopefully it continues spiking up. And let's just whip out AMD. Yeah, we can see that a buy on AMD here would have been nice, and you can get some instant profit. Are you done soon? Are we queuing again? Yeah, I'm done soon. I've just got this one pair to analyze, and then I'll be done with the stream and my YouTube video. So taking a look like at my last pair of the day on the 4-hour charts, which this pair, my AD USD pair, is literally so bad. Like I actually hate it. It's really doesn't have too many setups for me ever, and it's just shit. But let's just see what we can see here. So just gonna chuck in the fib on the heading towards the downside. The reason why I'm going from top to bottom is because if the market's heading down, then that's the direction you use your fib. If your market is heading up, then you do your fib from low to high and you enter in, right? So that's just how that works. So here we can see that if I had entered in here, target these lows, right now I'd be in around 13 pips profit, which this setup here actually looks pretty good, even though that completely contradicts what I just said 2 minutes ago. But essentially I missed it. We can also see that this here is on a key level right here, as it's being a support level here. We can even see previously it's resistance, support, support, resistance, right? So it looks pretty good. Take this towards the downside, bang out those profits. Once this here goes to maybe like down to here, around this 0.38, move the stop loss up. Now you're trading zero risk, and if it continues to go down, done, you get a big winner. If it just hits your zero or your break even, then it doesn't matter because you've already closed half the position, essentially 1%. Now you can go and get the other percentages, or you can just lose 1%. So I'd rather risk 1%, but essentially 0%, and gain like 3% off a trade, than kind of just keeping 2% on the table, and maybe have 6% as my take profit. I'd rather gain little and risk little than like risk a lot and gain a lot, because it's just more responsible. It's all about time in the game rather than it's about staying in the game rather than like beating the game or speed running the game, and like that's what Forex is at the end of the day. So if you have any questions, shoot me a message in my socials, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, and that's really going to be it for both the stream and the YouTube upload or video, whatever. And that's going to be it for this week. Hopefully I have a good week this week. I can bang another few percentages out. Maybe we'll have a losing week, as I haven't had one yet, and hopefully not, but that's just going to be it. One day at a time, week by week, keep it growing. Alright, that's going to be it for this week, and see ya.